Meacham came in second. And Abby Perrin in first. And people always want to know, what is the winning word? Do you remember what your winning word was? Because I looked it up today after you talked. You were right. Superior. I thought that was pretty ironic. The other word is bunions. So she did both of them.
So I'll get a picture real quick here. Where do you want them? Right here.
We also had the science fair here last week, before last, recently. And we had several students finish with superior ratings, so they will be going on to the next level in Athens. There was a little communication error, so I apologize. The middle school students, their boards are not here, but the sixth grade students do have their boards, so if you want to peruse those, you are welcome to do so. And when they come up, I ask that they also share what their project was and what they learned. Selma James. Adelaide Evelyn. Quentin Smith. Jonah Burns. And Eli Esham.
We're going to get your picture here also.
My project was on goalie finger saves, if they actually stopped your finger from bending back.
Our project was called the Color Assist Hub. It was a device for colorblind kids to be able to draw with color.
My project was on the skin cream that can repair your skin barrier the most.
My project was on the effect of COVID on student behavior. So I asked teachers on a Google form and attention span, all of that, and they said they'd seen a drastic change in their attention span and an increase in apathy. But I can't say it's completely from COVID.
I studied the difference between drone rotor systems and full-sized helicopter rotor systems,
and I found out that they have completely different ways of working.
Wow.
Where'd he go? Are you giving a presentation? Sorry.
Waiting to be asked.
Mr. Tripp is going to give his presentation on what's happening at Chillicothe Intermediate School. Sorry.
Well, thank you all for letting me share with you. Fascinating stuff happening behind your heads, so feel free to jump in. Thank you to the student council members who are here in their great Cavalier blue. They were your door greeters, and they also should have given you all a party favor of a Chillicothe Intermediate School sticker. If you did not get one of those, see me after the meeting. They're great for cell phones, cars, apparently t-shirts, and laptops, so get your Chillicothe Intermediate School level. Also, thank you to Carlton for the pledge. He is the third grader here who has worked very hard to be a very good student at Chillicothe Intermediate School, so he's a lot of fun if you couldn't. These students may look familiar because they were just standing in front of you, but also the top 5th grade and the top 4th grade competitors are up there too. So it was really impressive to see small students spelling big words. Okay, so what is happening at Chillicothe Intermediate School? At the beginning of the year, we set our goals in alignment with the district goals. And one of those things is the MTSS, multi-tiered systems of support. And that is one fancy way of saying we're going to give kids what they need when they need it, however they need it. So one of those things was done. We had building level PD, and then we also have had a couple of individual PDs as we've worked through with individual teachers or teacher teams. So at the beginning of the year, we had 5 active interventions for the entire building. And as of last week, we now have 76 active. There are 76 different events happening, either daily, weekly, whatever it may be for those students, to reduce behavior discipline, increase academic performance, increase attendance, whatever it may be that they need. And then we also have an early warning system that is pretty cool. I get a weekly report on students who are at risk based on those 3 criteria. And so we just go through and make sure that all of those students have something in place to address those deficits. Here is the growth proficiency chart for math. So every one of those blue bubbles represents a class. Now, some students could be repeated in there because of the way that it's set up, but in general, every bubble represents a homeroom. So our goal is to always be at the top right, but that dotted line there around the 40, that's the growth. So as you can see, a majority of our math classes are making the expected growth, and then the idea is that achievement will naturally follow with that. This is the same thing, only with reading, and not as top-heavy to the right, but definitely speaks to the investment that we've made in literacy instruction across the district. We're going to have fun too. So Amber Good, one of our STEM facilitators, dedicates her entire schedule 1 month out of the year to do coding. So they did dash coding. This is a combination of 3rd and 4th. I see a 5th grader in there. So they got to do that 1 day a week over 4 weeks' time. And we had a lot of fun with it. Discipline data, that's always fun. So the best people to compare ourselves to are ourselves. And as you can see, the office referrals have made a steady increase since the 2021 school year. Now, by looking at that, you might think, oh my gosh, that's horrible. But I want to provide some context with that. As you can see over on the right side, out-of-school suspensions are down. And that's because for This year, we have what I believe is the best system for teachers to understand what is a referral and what isn't. And then with the addition of the additional assistant principal, Mrs. Orr, Mrs. Landrum, they turn those referrals around. Student who is referred on a Monday isn't having that discussion on Thursday. It's happening within 24 hours. So it's going to take us a little bit of time to right the ship, but these numbers are only reflective of the first semester. And I believe the number we came up with was like 70 some. We are down from January and February of last year. So I do think we're going to start seeing that.
Receptions.
This just helps you to understand what system we have and how teachers can choose, or how kids work themselves through infractions, whether it be minor or major, and what the teacher or administrator does in each situation. Math and Science Night was a lot of fun. We have that in the fall. Tons of math centers. I wrote down what we had so they didn't forget it. We had a couple of community members come in, and the goal was to start small so the next year we can get even bigger, because we do have a great literacy night, and we want to also focus and highlight our math and science skills as well. Bus referrals are down from last year, not a lot, but they are down. Thank a bus driver. That's all I've got to say. That's one of the most important jobs in our district. This was literacy night. Again, that was a lot of fun. If anybody was here, you know it was a lot, but if you weren't here, you missed a good time. We had the mayor come in and did a guest reading. Department of Natural Resources brought in all sorts of lizards and other things that I told them they need to keep in that room and away from me. 20 plus literacy stations. We had a raffle. We had free take-home meals for students who completed stations. So it was a lot of fun. And now I'm going to ask our Student Council President and Vice President to come and share a little bit about what Student Council is doing.
So with the student council, this is me, Mikey Short, and this is
Abby Perry.
and we're here to talk about what we've done so far as a student council. So far, we've had a lot of skating parties, and we're working on a pie day, but we'll get to that. So with the skating parties, we've been having fun, and it's just been a great way to get outdoors and skate and just have some fun.
So for Pi Day, we are planning to dress up because there's not many days where you can and you can dress up as a famous scientist or a piece of pie.
We've had tons of dances. Some to name are the Cookie Dunk, Spring Fling, and this year we're having a Lucky Charm. The dances are fun. We have a DJ, and just a good way to talk to your friends.
For our goals, are to get more space for the playground and to get a bounce house for field day and other things.
And then I messed this part up. They did not have a goal of donations. They have already donated all of those things. So they donated $1,000 to the United Way Food Bank. They've made a large donation to the Ross County Humane Society and I can't remember what the cat rescue was called. And then also they supported the literacy night. And part of their donations, we rely a lot on Student Council. Another part of what they're doing is they're going to help pay for an individual pie on Pi Day for every student in the building. So. So now what? So we are focusing on social emotional learning. Thanks to the support of the board, the treasurer, and the superintendent, we were able to add a behavior specialist starting in January, and she has been a godsend. We are very appreciative of that addition. Always refining PBIS, we are continuing to focus on MTSS and the interventions, not just providing interventions, but effective ones. And providing, we have weekly instructional and administrative coaching with one of our consultants through the SST. And then also increasing the proficiency on students with disabilities, because we are listed as a target school through the Department of Education and Workforce for students with disabilities. So Swihart has been leading some internal monitoring and some professional development so that our intervention specialists can hone their craft a little bit more effectively. You're welcome anytime to come into the building. There's our caller seat. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Tripp. Mr. Wade, it's not on the agenda, but there is stuff there to do real. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So 5-minute break or so. So there's some cookies and I think drinks over there for a 5-minute reception. Okay.
I'm trying to lay off.
When we come back, there is board action, but we left the vote section on. So Brian, it's 10 minutes. There's no vote after the board action, and that is just to correct what we did in January to put me in place on the tax incentive review board at the county level and city level instead of a board member with all of the policy changes that are in discussion right now in the state house, so that we stay current, because it was Sean. So all of this is coming down the pike, and it's going to be very imperative that we stay on top of the changes and the requests, and it's going to be for commercial, city, and residential properties. So it's going to be moving really quickly. So that we have to name someone to that board. So we're just going to change it out from Sean to me.
Okay. That's great.
And we just, she just left off. So I told him that he's going to say I need a motion.
Okay, all right. Hello, how are you? Good, how are you? Okay, sounds good, thanks.
Is she going to speak? Is she speaking?
No, December.
We're now to the part where we will participation. Welcome to visitors to this and all board meetings. The board desires citizens of the district to attend its meetings so that they can become better acquainted with the operations and programs of the schools, and so that the board may have an opportunity to hear the wishes and ideas of the public. All meetings of the board are open to the public and the media. Do you have any requests for?
I do not.
All right. Legislative update. A couple things going on. The Ohio Committee on Property Tax Review and Reform is still in the process of doing the review and reform. So they met in January with auditors, and their next meeting scheduled here in February. Senate Ways and Means Commission is meeting on figuring out who's going to pay the estimated tax and delinquent taxes on property sales, and then the school bus debate in light of the wreck up there in Columbus. So, Claudia, you have anything to add to that? All right.
I'm in a meeting of ELL today to decide about moving forward, just reviewing the study that was done on ELL.
Pickwater Ross update.
Just a couple quick comments. The application date for the 2024-25 school year is over, and there were 702 applicants, and that's coming in about where they figured it would. And there's a new, they've just launched a new adult education website, Pickaway Ross, and it's basically to help the adults look at some of the educational and financial opportunities they have. So hopefully we'll spark some interest on that and improve that adult education. That's all I have.
Thank you. Board action, amend the Tax Incentive Review Council appointee. Appoint Claudia Zahler, treasurer, to the Tax Incentive Review Council. This is in compliance with ORC section 5709.85.
Make a motion.
Roll, please.
Mr. Spalding,
Yes.
Mr. Wade,
Yes.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Porter,
Yes.
and Mr. Bonner.
Yes.
Approval of the Board of Education minutes of January 9th, 2024, and 22, or January 22, and February 7th special meeting. Oh, shoot.
All right, I'd like to recommend the approval of the minutes, the financial reports, a resolution to support the Fair School Funding Plan, Inc., and the PBS allocations that were noted on the B drive, approval to pay purchase complete list included in the B drive. Payment in lieu of transportation for a specific student, and the gifts and donations as listed.
I would like to ask how, can you kind of help us understand the process of how we get to the then and nows on the POs?
Yes, so then and now is required by state law for the treasurer to certify that the funds were available then, which means when the purchase was committed or made, and now when I'm actually paying for the bill. And it means that there was not an approved purchase order in place to the purchase. I can then and now, anything $3,000 or less, but anything above $3,000, I cannot, and the board has to come to the board for payment. We have seen, we see a significant amount of then and nows in the treasurer's office, and we have since my arrival. We are just trying to make note of these items when they do happen because it slows the office. Here recently, we've had several purchases made without any purchase order whatsoever. And the most recent one being above $3,000, and it's stated specifically, and I can't pay it until we move on, which if it's a local vendor, you know, that's not a very good business relationship that we have.
Right. We got a motion on treasury reports and recommendations.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Roll, please.
Mr. Spalding,
Yes.
Mr. Wade,
Yes.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Porter,
Yes.
and Mr. Bonner.
Yes.
Superintendent recommendations.
Okay, I'd like to recommend A through I, number 11. We have a separate vote box for I-12. But I also would like to address G, the naming rights. So the recommendation is to name the Hatton Basketball Gym after Tom Cuppett and the Field House after Dennis Murphy, and to place a banner in the Hatton Gym to recognize other coaches that have had a significant impact on athletic history here in the district. And then also recognize Angela Francis. She's retiring after 34 years of service to the district.
So we have a motion on the superintendent recommendations.
I'd like to make comments first. I spoke many times about Mr. Cuppett and at great lengths, and you know what a great person he was, what a great coach he was, and his influence went far beyond the basketball court for what he did for our community. And Ms. Murphy, you know what a great man, and his influence also. And so many other, you know, this fantastic men and women have gone through our schools in different capacities, and the contributions that they have made are countless and numerous. I just, as much as I respect both of those individuals, Mr. Murphy and Mr. Cuppett, I will not support that, just because nothing against them at all, but there are so many other great people that have done so much for our students and our community that it almost seems like you're leaving them out. And I'm not going to start listing them because, one, we could be here a real long time, and two, I would undoubtedly leave out someone that needs to be recognized. So thank you, Mr. Cuppett. And I would also say Mr. Cuppett is in the Hall of Fame here at Shaw Coffee, and my good friend, Mr. Rout, sorry, has passed away. He would verify this for sure. I believe Mr. Cuppett was the first non-alumnus to be elected to the Hall of Fame, which that kind of speaks for itself. As I said, Mr. Cuppett, I could go on forever. He was the first person from West Virginia to be NAIA All-American in both basketball and football. He held the state record, and I don't know if he still does, for carries in a championship game, 38 carries. When he was here, he had 4 seventh grade teams at Smith and 2 seventh grade teams at Mount Logan, just right there in our own school district. And he was a great program builder. Once again, I could go on forever, and I have at times at this meeting or at school board meetings and city council meetings and park and recreation board meetings talked about Mr. Cuppett. And it's something I take very serious, this responsibility, and naming a court or a building after anybody. And but so many others are duly should be received and recognized also. And I just feel we would be sliding some of those people in a different way by naming something after these 2 incredibly great men. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
I just, I'm going to ask a question. Credit Flex, what is it?
Credit Flex?
Yeah.
That's a high school option for students to get credit for a course that perhaps they either can't get into, can't fit in their schedule. And it's proctored by a teacher at the high school that has a license in that area.
I want to know.
We got a motion on the superintendent recommendations.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Roll, please.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Porter,
Yes.
Mr. Bonner,
No.
Mr. Spalding,
Yes.
and Mr. Wade.
Yes.
Okay, so now you've got Well, why is that like that? Yeah, it's I 11 and 12 that would need to be voted on. That's for Mr. Spalding to be a volunteer strength and agility coordinator, sorry.
Anybody got a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll, please.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Porter,
Yes.
Mr. Bonner,
Yes.
Mr. Spalding,
Abstain.
and Mr. Wade.
Yes. Discussion or informational items?
I don't have any right now.
Board member comments?
Yes, I have a comment about an issue that we brought up quite some time ago, probably before anybody besides myself was on the board, about cell phones in the schools. And we were looking at, banning them totally. COVID came around, things got laid off the table, this and that. Now, we have a policy, which sadly is not enforced, in which cell phones must be remain in their locker. I walked down the hallway today and visited with some teachers throughout the day. Just about every student had their cell phone out in the hallway, texting, talking. I don't know what they're doing on them. There's no place for cell phones in our schools. We need to ban these from the schools. The students are there to learn. They're there to pay attention to the teachers, do their assignments. And I think something else that's coming along is these, I don't know what you call them, earphones, earbuds, something you put in your ear. Students shouldn't be walking around schools with these on there. I'm not in the technology, but who knows what is being transmitted into their ear at that point in time. Obviously, no one knows but them. It's not a good way to do anything. And we need to really go back, look at this. We need to ban the cell phones from our schools because obviously the policy we have now is not being enforced. And it's just really pulling down our educational process. As you can see from our test scores and where we rank in the whole area, which, I've talked about ad nauseum before. So if we really want to start making some changes, you do things one step, one brick at a time. Take care of the little things, big things will take care of themselves. It really just disgusts me as I get going on here that students know the rules and they just walk down the hall with cell phones out and not a single word is said to any of them. I mean, that's, how can you possibly think you're going to run a school or a school system when the students just blatantly disregard the rules and regulations? So, once again, I've gone on about matters like this before, always falling on deaf ears. But this is something that I think, we need to start taking some steps in the proper direction. Thank you.
Ms. Swinehart, does our board policy states now that when they go in, they have to drop them off in a basket before they go in the classroom?
No, they're go in their locker.
That's-
That's what was approved in the handbook back in August. Yeah. They did that last year some, but I will look into what you're saying.
We don't want, we don't have to really look at anything, just, we have the authority just to ban them from our schools and then, there it is, it's taken care of. Let's not try to reinvent the wheel or make something harder than what it is. That's why you say locker or it can't be out, there's room for interpretation. Because obviously you got to take it through the hall to get to your locker. But they say they can't be in the schools. Schools went for hundreds of years without students bringing cell phones to school. Everyone will be just fine. Yes, at times it could cause a minor inconvenience for someone, but it's just something that we don't need in our schools, and we're falling too far behind as it is. Thank you.
Now we'll enter into executive session to discuss appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, compensation, or investigation of employee or public official. There'll be no other board action after the executive session. Do we have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll, please.
Mr. Bonner?
Yes.
Mr. Spalding?
Yes.
Mr. Porter?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Wade?
Yes.
We're going to go down to the community room here on the right.